So anyway, let's read this. It says, some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of the earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, because they had no root, and they withered away. Again, these are men that came in and had no root in this doctrine. So they left it. So for whatever reason, what made them leave it, they left it. Whether it was their job, whether it was their woman, or whether it was, some guy that came to him and told him, look, man, I have a way for you to come out of your predicament, but you got to do A, B, and C. Yeah, so it could have been whatever that allowed them to fall out, but they fell out because they didn't really believe in this truth. So they left. So let's read verse 7. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. And it reads, let me read this again. Verse 7, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. And that's talking about riches, as it is written. Riches choke the word. I'm roughly paraphrasing what it says, right? Because when you read the parable, not a parable, but he was really talking to his disciples. And it's in the book of Matthew 19. And in the book of Matthew 19, I think from Matthew 24 to Matthew's maybe 28. Around that time, as well as he was speaking to this individual that was rich. So Yahushua told this man what to do to follow him, because he wanted to follow him, right? And he told him the things that he was already doing anyway. But then he told him, give up all of your riches and release it to the poor. And he didn't like that answer. And then there was a parable that came after that. If I could remember the parable, it goes something like this. It's much more easier for a camel to enter into the eyes of the needle than a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So that was basically the parable that Yahushua gave after he spoke to that rich man, that young rich man. You see? So, that's another thing too that can come and get you out of this truth, is wealth. And that's why this individual, man, the leader of the IUIC church, that dude's got money, man. I know a nigga that got money, and Nate, he got money. He's one of them cats that drive them nice cars. He lives in a nice house. This guy's good. He's got it going on. But as it is written, gaining the riches choke the word. So that's your thorns and your thistles. You see? So that's why Solomon also said that it's reasonable that we receive our daily bread. We have just enough to get by, not too little and not too much, but just enough to get by so we can further and focus on this ministry. And that's what it's all about. Because think about it, if you had your own business and you was wealthy in this world, you would be focusing on that. Your faith would be focusing on that rather than focusing on Yahushua. The focus is, or should supposed to be, in Yahushua. That should be the focus, not anything else. Okay? If you just have a regular job that you don't really like, you don't really care about, and it's paying you a reasonable amount of money, that's all you really need. You don't need all of that extra stuff that the people in the world have, because the people in the world, their faith is towards the word. Your faith is supposed to be towards Yahushua getting you the hell out of this captivity. So if you have your faith towards that, then highly likely you're of the potential elect, predestinated to be saved. But then again, as I say, you got to be given that gift of faith. So without me talking, let's get back to these precepts. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some in 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30. So these were men that were founded upon the rock, which is Yahweh Shai, which is the good ground. And they continued on that foundation, which Yahweh Shai is that foundation. You know, he's that stone which was refused, which became the head of the corner. And that's the stone that we stand on. And that's why we're growing and growing and growing into infinity. Our faith is flourishing. As it reads in the book of 2nd Ezra, I think it's in the book of 2nd Ezra somewhere. I could be wrong, but it says, in the last days, corruption shall be without, and faith shall flourish upon the face of the earth. So what's flourishing? Our faith and believing in the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, by exposing his word time in and time out with great consistency. And you have brothers worldwide, globally, that's teaching in the name of Yahweh Shai. Again, as I say, with consistency. You have other men that are getting into this philosophy, this holy philosophy, I'll say, and growing in the spirit in their own way. So that's all I have to say on that. So let me pull out another precept. Yeah, so this is verse 9. Okay, where we at now? All right, let me go over here instead. Okay, we're going to read verse 9. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. You see, so that's why the Lord didn't teach straightforwardly, which is what was taught the disciples, because you only had the elect that were meant to receive the mysteries of the kingdom, which were the service of prophets anyway. Plus they were given the gift of faith. The other rest of the 2/3 at that time wasn't given that element, which is faith, or should I say the ability of faith. All right, so they went out of the chosen. And there were many people that wanted to follow Yahweh Shai because they believed him to be the Son of God, but he said nah. There's instances where Yahweh Shai kind of denounced certain people. I would say a good majority of them at the time, because they weren't part of the chosen, the elect. So that applies even to this present moment in time. Like it reads in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 8th, I think it's to the 8th to the 9th chapter. Could be 8. But it reads like this: There be many more of them which perish than those that will be saved. So there you have it. And when you research the history from start to finish in the Bible, you always had an elect that survived hardcore times of death which came and pursued the people. You always had an election. So what's the difference of this time? The latter end. The last days of the latter end, excuse me. What's the difference? It's no different. And this empire is no different than the previous empires. So as it is written, there's no new thing on the earth, seeing that it is new. It have already been written of old time. So if you had an elect and you had certain things going on back in those days, then it's gonna come back and happen all over again. All right. So anyway, so let's read. Let's go back to Matthew 14. In Matthew 14, verse Yeah, 33. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, of a truth, thou art the Son of the Most High. 34. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of Gennesaret. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all that country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment, and as many as touched were made perfectly whole. So again, going back to the topic, the way that we're going to be healed when Yahweh Shai make his second return, because remember, as it is written, that Yahweh Shai is going to be the one coming with healing and his wings. Just like when you read the Gospels, from Matthew's and onwards, what you find out is that Yahweh Shai was found healing the sick and the lame. So the lame and the sick today, despite the fact that they're going through whatever it is that they're going through, what illnesses that they're experiencing in this life, these men are going to be called in to furthering this ministry. Like I say, you know, a lot of us in Great Millstone have unique health problems, some minor, some greater. You see? So we're those same people, just like our ancestors, which were the lame and the sick. They received healing because they believed that he was the Son of God and he can heal them. So we believe in Yahweh Shai that he will be the one to come and deliver us out of all of our ills. And yes, he will. It's just as simple as that. It's all about faith.